the right information. Today we see that all of us are getting into one or the other problem, and you know, right information is the key to get healthy. And sometimes we know uh, the different reasons for the disease are given, but at the end of the day, if we break it down and find it out, sometimes it's very basic things which are giving us a disease. And if we correct those problems, then I'm sure we see in our clinical practice that most of the things are reversible. They can be prevented, they can be treated.
I absolutely agree with you, doctor. So, I mean, because here there are a lot of people who actually even I don't know. I think it's also a good idea for me to introduce myself.
Yes.
So I am Siddharth, and I teach Isha Hatha Yoga for the last 7 years, and also for the last 2 years I am practicing functional medicine. I'm not a doctor, but I practice as a health coach, and that is how I happen got to know Dr. Ashwini and Ruhi, and we've been kind of brainstorming together. How do we bring more useful information to people, information that is tried and tested. We, for both of us, we have been trying these things out on so many of our patients or clients, and seeing major turnarounds in chronic health issues with small changes without medicines, right? So the idea was how to share this information, the science behind it, and what options, what tools do we have in our hands. So it is in that context, actually, this is the first in the series. We are kind of kick starting this process where we will be conducting these live sessions regularly, as well as uploading a lot of informative videos on different topics. So with that, once again, welcome. And I think we have quite a good number now, and also we are 5 minutes, beyond 5 o'clock. So Dr. Ashwini, I invite you to please take us through, whatever you have planned to share with us today. And before we do that, just one request is for everyone to please keep yourselves muted, because otherwise what happens is there is a lot of background noise and it becomes disturbing for the entire group. When we open the session up for question and answers, at that time you are welcome to unmute yourselves and ask questions. So what I'll do now is I'll mute everyone, and Ashwini ji, you will have to unmute yourself, and then we can start talking.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Siddharth. Uh, so first of all, I'll just give you the structure of today's events. First, I'll run you through why do we get the disease? What are the reasons for getting a chronic disease? That's one. Then how structured water can be useful to us, and how it can help us, reduce the burden of chronic disease. Then Siddharth will specifically talk about his experience, and he will present you few cases where structured water or ionized water has actually helped people reverse, problems which had no answer. We as a sometimes as a medical community, we fail to answer most of the questions. So this is the structure of it. So let me get started with it. Now, today, everybody, every family, the chronic diseases are rising. Okay, that was not the case 40 years back, maybe before that. Now recent 40, 50 years, disease are tremendously rising. Every family, either a kid or a healthy young boy or a girl or adult or mid age or old age, problems are just health problems are rising. So we were always told that there this is genetic and all that, but there has to be a reason for it. So we will try to get into the depth of it, what could be the potential other reasons behind it. Now, just to look at the how much is the disease burden. 77 million diabetics in India. Out of them, 5 to 10% are type 1, which is a major rise in the type 1 diabetics. Every fifth or almost 20% of women getting PCOS, wherein they have hormonal imbalances. Every third, almost 30% of India is hypertensive. Almost 20% of people have hypothyroidism or autoimmune conditions, and almost 20% of people have gut issues. All these are linked problems. They're not separate things, but just for the sake of understanding, we try to put it into a different brackets. But The common cause, if you look at a diabetic or a hypertensive or PCOD or an autoimmune problem or a gut problem, you will see that their stomach or digestive or gut health is the problem, and they have a high inflammation in the body. So let's look at the what are the different causing what are the different things which can give you a problem. First of all, every time we go to a doctor, we ask, okay, why do I get this problem? Why do I have this problem? They say, oh, this is a genetic problem. Now, genes, human genomes is just one part of the game. And nature is not that idiot that, if we have a gene modification, there has to be reason for it. Any modification comes for a reason. Only thing is we are not able to understand the modification, and we are not to live up to the expectations of the this modification of the genes. Now there are other reasons which are like increased gut permeability, induced immune responses to the food or the toxins, imbalances in the gut microbiome. There are environmental factors like toxins, all this, chemicals which are around us. Then the poor diet, then nutritional deficiencies, toxin load, stress, and the lifestyle today, which is sedentary today. So these are the reasons, and most of the reason, except for the human genome, we can modify. Now, if we modify the reasons, we can also modify the expression of the gene. Today, what is considered as a irreversible, we can reverse that problem if we make sure that the environment around the gene is correct. We give the right environment for a genome. So this is what we believe, and most of the cases we get to the point that we are able to help people and wean off their drugs and all that. So now each factor we'll look into little more details. Now, first is the chronic stress. Today it is becoming rampant. Everybody is stressed about either the past or the future, or the we don't live into the present. So this stress increases our stress hormones. It keeps us into the flight and fight mode all the time, and we keep releasing this stress hormones. Those stress hormones ultimately increase our inflammatory markers that lead to diseases like diabetes, heart conditions, or autoimmune conditions like multiple sclerosis. On the top of that, when we have a stress with us, emotional stress, we start eating more and unhealthy foods to cope up with the problem, which is eating sugars, carbs, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, and drugs. That is again is a adding further to the problems. So first is the stress, then comes the coping mechanism, which further increases the problem. Then comes the poor nutrition. Today the diet that we are eating today largely is processed diet, either processed sugars or processed sodas or the biscuits or all namkeens that is available. All of that is processed. Now processed food does not have the nutrition what is required. A car needs four tires. Now if one of the tire is missing, we cannot have a healthy body. So if vitamin A is not there, if B is not there, D is not there, magnesium is not there, selenium is not there, proteins are not there, then we cannot run our body efficiently. Almost all cases that we see today, people are deficit in vitamin D and they are deficit in proteins, even though they are eating the highest quality foods, but their digestion is so poor, they are not able to digest those foods. Then comes the role of genetically modified foods. Even though we are eating enough, but we are not able to make those foods as part of our body, because these foods are we are not supposed to eat anyway, and they give us a allergic reaction. Now if we are eating, considering that it is a healthy food, but it is not suiting us, it is giving us bloating, gas formation, constipation, diarrhea, that means that food is not for us, and we should stop eating that, so that whatever little we eat or good foods we eat, we should be able to make it as a part of our system. Then there is an interesting concept which is behind most of the chronic problems that we have today, is a leaky gut syndrome. So from the intestines or from the gut, we are supposed to get the nutrition into our blood. Now what happens sometimes, when we don't treat our gut well, we don't feed the right nutrients to the gut. We keep feeding ourselves with the all processed foods, junk foods, and all that. There, our guts start developing small holes. So from the holes, what happens? undigested foods, the bacterial toxins start getting into our system, uh, unwanted things instead of the nutrition, unwanted anti-nutrients start getting into our skin, and our immune system thinks, whoa, what is this? We have never seen such a thing. Then it start this inflammatory process leading to all kind of inflammation and all kind of autoimmune conditions, or uh, any chronic problem. Leaky gut is one primary reasons. So what are the things that are triggering this leaky gut? Wheat, which is hybrids, barley, rye. These some of the grains. The two reasons. One is a hybridization. Second is today our capability to digest these proteins has decreased because either we don't have enough acid into our stomach, or we don't have enough good bacteria to break these foods down. Now, when we don't have that capability to digest this food, we should not have it till we bring back those capabilities. Then comes the role of the dysbiosis. Now, dysbiosis basically means, our stomach should have more of a good bacteria, less of the bad bacteria. When this balance is out of balance, this is called dysbiosis. We have more of unhealthy bacteria, less of good bacteria. Then these bacterial toxins, they start getting into the bloodstream. Now, that's another problem today. Most of the chronic problems, they have an autoimmune connection with them. Our immune system is made by the gut bacteria. We don't have the right bacteria, we don't have the right immune system. We don't have the right immunity as well. Today, people having severe reactions with COVID simply because they don't have the right microbiome in their gut. So when this is out of balance, we get into a lot of trouble. There's a gas formation, there is a constipation, indigestion, autoimmunity, all sort of nasty things come to our system. Then interestingly, sometimes for leisure, or sometimes for just for the recommended things by the doctors and all that. Now we disrupt our digestive system. We don't treat our digestive system very well. So some of the things that we have listed down is stress can disrupt our chronic our digestive abilities. Alcohol can disrupt our digestive system. Antibiotics can disrupt, and acid blockers. Sorry, I think this is spelling mistake. So acid blockers today, we are using acid blockers, or proton pump inhibitors or antacids, just like a chewing gum, which is a very bad thing to do. It leads to another problem. We might get a relief for the time being, but we get actually into a bigger problems. Gluten is another, which is across the board we see gluten is a problem. Painkillers, steroids, overuse of laxatives, high sugar diets, food allergies, processed and junk food. Now, these are some of the common known factors. And if we want to make sure that we are healthy, we should take these things out of the system. Along with that, now this is one thing is disrupting the digestive system. Then there are also things disrupting our endocrine system. Now, endocrine system is a way one cell communicates with another cell. Now, if we don't have the right endocrine system, communication within the body becomes poor. So the things that we use in the body lotions and sunblocks or pesticides or plastics or the industrial household chemicals, now these have similar things which mimic like a hormone, but they don't actually work as hormone. They replace the regular hormones, and they replace the signals also. So we have a hormone looking like thing, but it does not function. So our body cannot even send signals. If anything going wrong, it cannot even communicate with other cells. So this is also another part of the game. We should avoid these things as much as possible to make sure that we have a right digestive system and right endocrine system, so that the communication is there within the cell is optimum. Now, toxic stress is another big stressor today. All the patients that we see today, we always generally run a blood test wherein we get to know their heavy metals like mercury, aluminium, strontium, lead, and we find one or the other is always high. Of course, blood test is not a very good marker to test the heavy metal, but it's fairly gives us a good idea where are we. So we always find anybody having a chronic problem or an autoimmune problem, they have these heavy metals. Now, what are the heavy metals? These are heavy metals like aluminium is another thing. We use aluminum utensils at home, and we thinking that it's easy to clean and all that, but actually they give us a lot of damage. Then the petrochemicals, then the food additives. If we buy foods made in the uh, factories, we get, because of the preservative, they want to preserve the shelf life and all that, but ultimately we damage it. Herbicides, fungicides, pesticides, all these things bring a lot of toxic stress to our system, and our system takes a toll, and we get unhealthy or we get a diseased body. Now, very interestingly, another cause of the problem is a bad water. We have been drinking, the reverse osmotic water all along, and we think it is pure because the chemicals or the toxins or the virus, all these things are taken out. But what happens during this process? It becomes more chaotic, and it loses its energy. So what are the things which makes this water into bad form of water? RO water becomes bad. Uh, uh, Water flowing through the pipes loses its structure. Chemically treated water loses its structure. If we do a distillation, it can also make the water to lose structure. Okay, bottled water is also unstructured water. Now, uh, to to make sure that we get the benefits of the water, we have to have a right quality water. Now, when we don't bring the right amount of water, then what happens? Okay, I think there was
Can
somebody.
we can we
Wait,
keep ourselves
wait.
muted, please, everyone?
So we also see that in our clinical practice, people. Okay, so we see in our clinical
Ashwini ji, okay, sorry. Please continue.
in our practice that people, although they are drinking enough water, but their blood parameters still say that there is a dehydration in the system. So that means drinking water is not enough. We have to have the right quality of water to make sure that water does its job. So we'll get to understand that bit. So now we know now what is the problem. The poor microbiome in the gut, the poor diet, the poor water, the toxins. These are known problems of giving us an unhealthy body. So what is that we can do to make sure that we get out of the problem, right? The solution is we should feed ourselves with the right food. We give us a positive, a non-toxic environment to our body, so that our genetic code can work to the optimum. We avoid the known allergens in the food, like gluten, dairy products. Dairy is not bad for everybody, but unfortunately, the dairy that is available today, 40% of the dairy that is there, as per the reports, is adulterated. So we don't even know what kind of milk that is getting to our home. We should avoid it. Eggs which are not organic, that can be a problem. It can bring you a lot of hormones in them. Sugars, processed food, junk foods. Alcohol is also, of course, a leisurely people do it, but ultimately we end up damaging our own self. So what we have to do is we have to eat fresh, organic, fermented food, a lot of good fats like avocados and coconut oil. And we, along with that, we also make sure that we are taking certain things which are anti-inflammatory. We, as a tradition, we always have done it, and we should continue doing it, like using turmeric, cumin, fennel, parsley, cinnamon, all these herbs which are anti-inflammatory. They also kill the bad bacteria in the gut. So they are both ways good. If we reduce the bad bacteria in the gut, we can also make sure that we reduce the inflammation in the body. So we need to improve our gut microbiome. The diversity and the quality of the bacteria in the gut has to be improved. So what that we can do about it is we eat a rainbow diet, multicolored diet, all this carrots or spinach or peppers like bell pepper, green pepper, red pepper, all these different colored food we should eat. And you know we also, along with that, we always have the culture to use neem or tulsi or giloi. They were the regular part of our diet, but now recently, because of we have started living in the cities and all that, we are not using this antibacterial or fungal antifungal herbs. So we make sure that we slowly bring them into our diet. Then of course, along with that, we can take pre and probiotic, which are the either in the form of a food or in the form of supplementation. Now, it is also important that along with changing the diet, we should have a clean body, which does not have toxins. And along with that, we should have a detox home, garden, and office. We should live in a clean environment also. Because if the source of the problem is there, we try to clean ourselves as much as possible. But if we keep getting those bad things into our system, then also it's a problem. So make sure that our homes and offices and gardens are clean, and they don't have fungal infection. There's no burning things of plastic and all that. Now, what is that next step? Once we know that the environment is clean and all that, what is that next we can do to make sure that we cleanse ourselves, we detox our own body? Water plays an important role. Now, if it is structured and hydrogen water, it is much more beneficial. Absent salt bathing, use of personal care products which are organic, which does not have any chemicals into it, steam bath, infrared sauna, getting connected to the nature, especially earthing. Earthing can also help us, walking barefooted onto the ground or onto the grass. It can really help us detox our system. And of course, today we are exposed with all this different gadgets like mobiles, tvs, laptops, this and that. But we should make sure that we stay away from it whenever possible. And at least during the sleep, all these gadgets and wi-fi should be turned off, so that we are not exposing ourselves too much to these radiations. Now, so the topic today is the water. So 60 to 80% of our body is water, right? And what do we expect from the water, and what kind of water is important for us? We want water to be hydrating us. We want that this water transport all the nutrition that we digest into our system to our cells. We want that water takes a toxin away from the cell and expel it out of the system. We want that it also nourishes the microbiome. The good bacteria needs good quality water. And also we want that right pH, optimum pH is maintained within the body. And different stomach has to be acidic. Similarly, different body parts need a different pH, so that we need right quality water, which where we can maintain that pH. So what are the quality of water that required to achieve that? It has to be structured, it should not be chaotic, it has to be ionized. If it has more hydrogen in it, it becomes very therapeutic. So what's the problem that we deal with if we give along with what we do as a improving the diet, improving the gut microbiome, improving the toxicity. If we also add the structured water to the patient's life, their outcomes are multifold. Now, just to give you an example, what structuring can mean. Okay, so diamond and coal, both of them they have the same chemical formula. But they're same in a chemical formula, but when they only have a difference in their structure. So coal is a loosely structured, diamond is a hard structure. So look at the qualities of coal, and the value a coal or a diamond can deliver. So just a matter of structure, it can be very valuable. Similarly with the water, now if it is not structured, as you see can screen on the image, it is chaotic. And when it becomes structured, it becomes hexagonal in its shape. This is where it can deliver the best to us. So we should make sure that slowly we adopt the ways to drink the right quality water. So now, what are the benefits of this water? It can improve our gut microbiome. Gut microbiome has the ability to give us a healthy life. Okay, without the right microbiome, we cannot sustain. They say only 1% of our DNA or genetic makeup is human genome. 99% is a bacterial, viral, or fungal genome that we carry along with us. Now, we need to nourish this microbiome to make sure that we have a healthy system. So So this structured water can help this lactic acid producing bacteria like lactobacilli or bifidobacter. These are some of the common things that we use in a clinical practice as a probiotic. Now, if we feed ourselves with the right water, we don't have to take all this supplementation for a long time, because there's something giving the life to these bacteria. Now, another thing is also absorption of water, sorry, nutrients. We take the supplement, we take the food. Sometimes we feel that even next time we run a blood test, we find that we have given enough amount of the nutrients, but still the blood markers for these nutrients are low. So sometimes these things are not even absorbed from the stomach to the blood, and from the blood to the cells. So they need a right medium. The water is the right medium to carry from the stomach to the blood, to the blood to the cells. Then fundamentally, we just like a car, when we feed the car with the fuel, it will produce some toxins as a byproduct, which has to be taken out of the system. Similarly, our cells also produce this metabolites, which has to be taken out of the system, along with the other things which unnaturally come to our system. So if we have the right ways of detoxification, then even unwanted things are coming into our system, we can still take them out. And water plays a major role there, making sure that we take out this unwanted things out of the system. And detoxification is greatly enhanced by the using the right water. Now, along with that, uh, hydration is an important concept. Our cells should get hydrated. Now, if you see, structured water is always a few molecules clubbed together, but unstructured or chaotic water, maybe molecules can be bigger, multiple, maybe 20 to 25 molecules can grouped together. Now they become too big, so that they cannot get into the cells very easily. So this structured water, because of its hydration, it improves in the cell. Because of a unique electrical charge, structured water allows our system to operate more efficiently. And it is also helps our cells to retain more water, whatever it is required, so they don't get dehydrated. So it's not just drinking enough water or drinking liters of water, but it's about drinking the right water. Now, when the molecule is small and hexagonal in structure, it is able to penetrate more easily. So even we drink less of the water, but we are able to hydrate ourselves. So this is very important, that we drink the right water to make sure that our cells get the nutrients and our cells get the right amount of hydration. Now, next concept of this structured water or H2 hydrogen water is, it is a very potent antioxidant. So aging and getting a disease is a process of oxidation. When too much of oxidation happens in the system, this is where we start aging very quickly, we start getting disease very quickly. So we need ample amount of antioxidants. So all the minerals, all the vitamins and nutrients, they play a role of an antioxidant. So fortunately, hydrogen, which is easily available in the water, can help us do the job. It also help the cell to get into a state of homeostasis. That means in the right balance. Our, just like our mind or our body, right, then need the right balance, our cells also need the right balance. And this right quality water helps us prevent the atherosclerosis, which is so far as the conventional thought process, doctors, they say atherosclerosis cannot be reversed. So if we start doing feeding ourselves with enough of antioxidants in the form of from the water or otherwise also, we can reverse this process of atherosclerosis as well. Along with that, H2 water can also increase the production of cellular antioxidant like glutathione. Now, glutathione is commonly used as antioxidant from in the supplement form, but if we feed ourselves the hydrogen water, cell will naturally increase glutathione. Now, there's another thing which is causing oxidative stress today is exposure to the ionizing radiation. Today, this mobile towers, this mobile phones, this Wi-Fi's. So of course they have become a part of our life, and it's very difficult to live without them. But unfortunately, they do a lot of oxidative stress, a lot of damage to ourselves. Now, when we are doing a lot of damage, we should make sure that at least we are doing more things to recover from these damages. And that H2 water can play a very big role. and of course it helps us, all it neutralize this free radicals. So as per few studies, they say, a glass, maybe a 1.5 liter of hydrogen rich water can be equivalent to 516 apples or 38 carrots. Of course, we need the right nutrition and the right, we cannot only be drinking the water which is hydrogen, but along with having the right diet, if we drink the right water, the things can be potentiated much more. So these are some of the, if we drink the right water, our weight can naturally come down. We don't have to put extra effort to just to, today we see a lot of people, they go to gym, they go do all kind of things, dieting and all that, but still their weight does not come down. So maybe the water in the body is not structured. Now, if we do achieve that, weight can come to a normal. Concentration increases, mood will also get enhanced, pains in the body will reduce, digestion will improve, energy levels will improve, uh, BP and cholesterol will also improve. So just imagine how much powerful this water can be if we drink the right quality water. Now, how do we get that? What are the different things that we have to do to make sure that we have the structured water in the cells, and how do we get into the body? So there's few things we can do to make sure that the water already in the body is structured. So infrared sonars can help us, whole body vibration can help us, pulse electromagnetic field can help us, grounding can also help us. Simply walking onto the ground with barefoot can help us to make sure that our cells have the structured water, so that our cells can function to the optimum. Now, along with that, how do we have structured water into our drinking water? Now, luckily today, these ionizers are available, which makes the water more alkaline, which make the water structured, and it adds rich hydrogen to it. Now, how hydrogen is a very potent therapy if we do use it right. Okay, so these can be a very good tool adding to our daily routine. So today we have all of us, most of us has this RO water systems with us. Now RO is only taking out the chemicals from it, or the viruses or the bacteria from it, but unfortunately it also it makes the water chaotic, makes it less bioavailable to us. So if we add this ionizer to our homes and daily routines, you know uh, our health can be greatly enhanced. Of course, there are other things which are like exposing the water to far infrared rays, vortexing, uh, even the juices or the from the vegetables or the fruits, they have a structured water. So this is how we can, if we drink more juices, we can also get more structured water to ourselves. So I think this is from my side, Siddharth. You can now present your
Thank you, Ashwini ji. That was a amazing presentation full of practical knowledge and wisdom, and in a very short time. So once again, thank you for that.
thank you.
I'll just take maybe 5-7 minutes and quickly share a few examples. Okay, so now first of all, coming back to what are the sources of ionized water. So in the second last slide, Ashwini ji, presented 5 or 6 options that you can use to generate structured water. I have been using the device called ionizer for this purpose, and I just thought I will quickly share the science of how ionization happens. How does it produce hydrogen? Because I see some people asking that question also in the chat. So what happens is this device has a electrolysis chamber. Okay, this is comprised of 7 plates made of titanium, which have been double dipped in medical grade platinum. Now water is passing through this chamber, and there is electricity running through these plates. So a little bit of the water gets electrolyzed. When it gets electrolyzed, the H2O splits into hydrogen ion and the hydroxyl OH ion. The OH ion being negative, it gets attracted towards the positive electrode. On the other hand, the hydrogen ion is positive, and it gets attracted towards the negative electrode. From the negative electrode, the hydrogen ions acquires electron and it becomes atomic hydrogen H. When it comes in contact with another atomic hydrogen atom, it becomes molecular hydrogen, right? This is what we consume. When we drink the water, we are consuming a lot of this hydrogen. And this is how we are basically able to get the benefit of drinking hydrogen water. There are other properties that also come along with this. The structuring that happens naturally as a part of this process, the machine tends to break apart big clusters of water. 15, 20, 25 molecules of H2O coming together to form a big cluster. The device tends to break these apart into smaller 5, 6 molecules per cluster. So it becomes hexagonal in shape generally. As well as the water becomes alkaline. Just to share this with you, it's a very interesting thing that the 1931 Nobel Prize was given to Dr. Otto Warburg for the finding that the root cause of cancer in the body is hyperacidity or acidosis. Actually, the technical term is acidosis. When I say this, I don't mean acidity in your stomach. Stomach should have acid, but when your tissues and your cells become acidic, that is the root cause of cancer. Without the cells and tissues becoming acidic and without a lack of oxygen, cancer cannot develop in the body. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for this. In fact, he also proved that if you just deprive a cell of the required amount of oxygen for 48 hours, there are significant chances that this cell can turn cancerous. Okay, so what is happening is with the with this device, we are making the water alkaline, so it is countering the acidity at a cellular level. We are making the water hydrogen rich. Hydrogen has been proven to show a therapeutic result or a therapeutic benefit in over 170 chronic ailments. Okay, 170 chronic ailments practically means everything, right? What it tells us is, in other words, that this is not a medicine which is targeting this ailment or that ailment. It is something that is supporting the innate systems of the body and helping them function better. When the body is functioning better, any ailment it will be able to overcome or at least reduce, right? Excuse me. So I will just share a couple of slides with you now, showing the kind of experiences that people have had, the kind of benefits that they have received from using this water. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of Dr. Shinya. Uh, he's quite old now, but till a few years back when he was in active practice, he was considered as amongst the top doctors in the world. Excuse me. He is the He was the professor of surgery at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine and the chief of endoscopy at the Beth Israel Medical Center in New York. And he is the co-inventor of the technique of colonoscopy. Now, for many decades, actually, he has been recommending Kangen water, which is what we are talking about, ionized water, along with obviously diet modification to prevent and reverse chronic ailments like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, etc. Now, being the co-inventor of colonoscopy, when the name is Enagic, which is the producer for the Kangen machine, when it came to know that Dr. Shinya has been recommending Kangen water to his patients for many, many years, they approached him and they asked him if he can share some evidence towards this. So he actually shared videos, okay, which he has, recorded when he put the colonoscope inside the large intestine of his patient. And here are a few examples. Dr. Ashwini initially mentioned that inflammation in the body becomes the root cause for any number of chronic ailments. So here is the colon of a patient with very high level of inflammation. And this is the same person After 3 months of drinking Kangen water, you can see a massive difference. This is a constipation patient, which is actually a 45-year-old female with breast cancer. She has chronic constipation. You can see the colon is not clear. It's very dirty. 3 months of drinking the water and it's gone. This is a chemotherapy patient. You can see what is the condition. The healthy tissue should be reddish in color, body tissues, right? This is turning black, which means significant damage is happening to the cells. 3 months of drinking the water, it is recovering significantly. To move on, this is actually a gentleman based in Bangalore, an 81-year-old person. If you look at the blue data pre-Kangen till 2018 December, his fasting blood sugar is 255, PP sugar is 300, his HbA1c is 10.7, triglycerides are at 200, right? LDL is at 70, etc. And the doctor is giving him 60 units of insulin every day. 1.5 years of drinking the water, 20th of May this year, his fasting blood sugar has come down to 114, postprandial is down to 160, HbA1c has come down to 7.5, triglycerides are at 131, LDL has also come down, and his insulin has been reduced to 18 units, 18, from 60 to 18. No other changes, no modifications of diet or any lifestyle factors, just changing the drinking water. This was shared by a friend's father, Dr. Bhupendra Prasad Sharma, who is a burns surgeon based in Guwahati. So basically, this device, this Kangen machine, can produce 7 different types of water. It produces alkaline water for drinking and acidic water, which is very good for skin ailments. So this patient has tried to commit suicide by setting herself on fire. And for 10 days, only the acidic water has been sprayed on her body. And you can see the skin that was bleeding on day 1 has started drying and peeling off by day 10. Burns don't heal so quickly when they are so extensive. So he is a big fan of Kangen water. This is actually my neighbor. He works with Ernst& Young. It's a short video that he shot. I requested him to share his experience of drinking water after around 10-12 days. Okay, it was less than 2 weeks, but by mistake he has mentioned 3-4 weeks of drinking this water. So, we can just uh, listen to him.
Hi, good morning. My name is Ankit. Uh, I'm making this short video to share my experience about the water quality, which I have recently started taking from Siddharth. So it has been 3 to 4 weeks since I'm taking this water, and I could definitely feel a change in terms of digestion, um, being light, more focus, less of drowsiness. Like earlier, also I was taking the RO and UV purified water and was closely monitoring my TDS, but I could still feel that heaviness in that water, right? So after talking to Siddharth, I realized this pH value is also something which matters a lot. So yeah, after taking this water, I could definitely feel a lot of positive changes in my body, and I'm looking forward to take this in future as well.
So just to add a little bit more, he had very bad digestion to a point where if he ate anything little heavy, like parathas made with ghee, etc., very often he will not be able to digest and he will end up actually throwing up after a couple of hours of having the food. And this used to happen easily, like once in a week or once in 10-12 days. Since he started drinking Kangen water, it did not happen even once in the last 2 months. And this is another one. This is Ashish. He's actually Ankit's elder brother, and he had a very, very interesting experience, which is something even I was surprised at actually.
Hi everyone, I am Ashish. Thought of sharing a recent experience, unusual experience which I came across, which I had personally. So this Saturday I had a minor accident while playing cricket. So I got bumped into the iron pillar, and you can see. So I have this mark basically. So this is where my skin got peeled off, and this is where the blood clotted and the skin mark. So this mark, what you are seeing, is not even 20% of the mark what was there. And this 80%, almost 80% of the recovery, to my surprise and fortunately for me, has happened in less than 72 hours. So for me, I am someone who loves sports, and I do biking. So for me, injury has been a part and parcel of my life. So this is not something which has happened for the first time, right? So what was unique in this was the healing process, the recovery process. So usually the time what it has taken me in previous occasions was like a week's time, 10 days. But in this case, within 72 hours, you can see, means I can feel that the mark has come down by almost 80%. So what was different? The different was basically, in addition to the general process of what you do, the put the cold ice and apply soframycin or a betadine. In addition to that, what I have done this was, which my neighbor had suggested, has given me a Kenyan water, which have a acidic level of 2.5, pH level of 2.5, which is said to be lower than the pH level of Dettol or a Savlon. So I had been constantly applying that water on my skin. So that is the only difference which I have done, and that water has helped me a lot. And and most surprisingly, I had a very limited pain. The kind of impact which I had during that time, so my friends were like, "Bhai, tu to gaya." It's like you're out of the game for next 2-3 weeks. So you can see, but it's just this Saturday morning I met with this accident, and now I'm all set to play for this weekend again. Thank you.
So here, so basically, what Ashish, when he made this video, Saturday morning he was playing this match around 10:11 when he had this accident, and he recorded this video on Monday evening. That's all. 2.5 days, less than 2.5 days actually. That's the speed of healing. Drinking the alkaline water and applying the acidic water on the skin. Now, I have a couple of kind of friends who have tried this water and they have texted me. Not only friends, also my clients, health coaching clients. So I just thought I'll share a couple of them with you. So this first one that you see here was a client with a very severe case of IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Okay, for a long time he did not have a single solid uh, bowel movement. He would always have loose motion or diarrhea, and every time he eats something, he has to go to the toilet. Okay, that's how bad it was for him. In fact, he had to change his job. He was in a very good, consulting kind of a job. He had to actually move to a much less demanding job because he was unable to handle the strain that is, there in a high pressure job. And when he came to me, I said, for 1 week, let us just try the water, nothing else. We'll not make any other changes to your diet, etc. Within 3 days, he said that his bloating, his gas, his acidity has had reduced by 30 to 40%. By the fifth day, actually, he had started having solid stool. No other changes, just the water. I did not tell him any other changes till that time. And this other message was from another friend who drank the water for 1 day, and you can read that I felt very light with the water and woke up feeling fresh. Shoulder pain that was constantly bothering eased away very gently. I may not be able to describe in exact words, but the water is definitely wonderful properties. And this last one is actually from an old friend who's had thyroid issues for like more than 20 years. She's been on medication for more than 17 years, if I remember correctly. And her son, who's like what, I think 20 or 21 years old, uh, has is having major issues with his digestion. He just does not feel hungry. She has to really push him hard to have one meal, and he will not eat before like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And the second meal is impossible because he doesn't feel hungry at all. So she wanted to try the water for him mainly. And this message she has shared after I think 3 or 4 days of drinking the water. So till that time, she had not noticed any difference for the son, but for her, advanced case of hypothyroid, her energy levels were up significantly. She was also somebody who will have one meal at 10 o'clock in the morning and then till 8 o'clock she's not feeling hungry again. She started feeling every few hours. Okay, every 3 hours, 4 hours, she's wanting to eat something because metabolism is up and food is getting digested and consumed quickly. Anxiety levels came down, and further on, it took a longer time, I think, what, 2 weeks or a little more than that, for her son also to start asking for the second meal on his own, which was a major, major thing for them. That he's asking for food, that I'm hungry, please give me something to eat. So, like this, there are any number of, experiences that we have had, including myself and other people. So, I mean, that's all I wanted to share. Uh,
So I
Rashmi?
think it's all about enabling the body, right? We give the right conditions to the body. Now, 70% to 75% of the body is water only, and we in functional medicine we do a lot of diet modification, lot of nourishment, but still some people easy peasy they get all the outcomes, and some people still get stuck. And largely water is the missing component there, where we have not done anything. And these amazing outcomes is potentially because we start bodies start responding to everything. Even we give them the supplement, that supplement has to get absorbed to their cells, and for that, a right carrier has to be there, and water plays a great role there. So I think it's all about enabling the system. Our body is intelligent enough. We as a medical community, a doctor, we know few percent of it, but largely so many things are unknown to us. It's all about trying and experimenting, giving the person right conditions so that they can, at the end of the day, it's all about enablement. A person will heal by themselves. We as a doctor cannot really treat them. Their own mind and their own body treats. So we are just enabler, and creating a right information. And even somebody has mentioned about a placebo. At the end of the day, we believe even a placebo, if it is working, at the end of the day, person has to heal. It has to he they has to feel better. That is what the requirement, and this is what we are looking for.
So Ashwini, just to add this thing, actually for this IBS patient that I mentioned, I took extreme care not to mention anything about the properties of the water. I said I'll just give you a different drinking water. That's all. I did not explain to him a single property or anything scientific about the water.
Right. So I think now research is very clear. I mean, this is no more what do you say, known thing. Hydrogen has a great therapeutic effect on the microbiome, on the cellular function, on the
Immune system.
detoxification, and this uh, as an antioxidant. So the plenty of research is available today. We just have to deploy different tools to make sure that we get it and we get healthy. So I think we are open to questions now, right, Siddharth?
Yes, I think because there are so many of us, so if we everyone unmutes, it will be too difficult to handle. If you have questions, you can please put them in the chat, and we'll try our best to answer.
Okay, I
So
think few
there
of
is one question about the Jivarasam. So my understanding is that Jivarasam does certain other things which are connected to your energy system. I do not think it will ionize the water.
so there are three things to the water. One is the structuring of it. One is adding extra hydrogen to it, and of course raising the pH of it. Right, three components. If of course only structured water is also great. Now we add more hydrogen, it more potentiates the value of it. All right.
Correct.
So somebody asked, what is vortexing? So there's a device, of course, a few companies in India also started making it, wherein you just simply pour the water through the device and it becomes structured. Of course, the many people, they say that it does a great job, and but it does not add extra hydrogen to it. But by itself, it can be a good way of doing things. And let's get into a question some people have. How do you get hydrogen into water? Again, this ionisers can help us get more hydrogen to the water. And
So the IBS patient was drinking the average between 2 to 2.5 liters of water every day. No
okay,
extra quantity, just the normal consumption.
I think, okay, somebody has asked what is the difference between emotionally treated water and device treated water. I think largely science is also getting clear on this thing that water has a memory, and if we put our thoughts, it retains the thoughts. Of course, we cannot produce empirical evidence to it, but largely, people who have done inner work onto the water. So emotions can structure the water, and device can also structure the water. Microclustering means a few particles coming together, making a hexagonal structure. So both can be done. Along with that, device can add extra hydrogen to it, right?
And make it alkaline.
Yes. And then I think Anil Khandelwalji has, of course, I recently came to know about Anil Khandelwalji, and he is also has some interesting water with them, which is I add 4 to 6 drops of the water into the regular water, and that regular water can become structured, which is again a good way of getting things done.
Right. And there's also a question about copper vessels. How about using copper vessels for water? So once again, traditionally, copper has been recommended as the one of the best uh, containers for storing your drinking water. It definitely has certain benefits. It is a bactericidal. It kills harmful bacteria, and the water is supposed to be good for your liver. So definitely there are benefits like that. But these properties that we're talking about, making the water alkaline, adding hydrogen to the water, and microclustering or structuring the water, these are not possible through copper.
No, I think copper, that structuring can be done. Copper water, it becomes structured, but not extra hydrogen.
Okay. And pH also alkaline.
Huh.
That doesn't have.
And Dr. Krishma asked the rest autoimmune disease. Of course, see, as per our understanding of in functional medicine, any problem, be it an autoimmune problem or other chronic problem, fundamentals remain the same, which is the poor gut health, poor nutrition, poor water, toxins, poor microbiome in the gut. Now, if we enable the body, any problem can be sorted. Of course, some people, depending on the mind also, mind plays a significant role in healing. Now, if we correct these things, and depending the depth of the disease and how a person, for how long he or she has been having the problem, some people very quickly recover, and some people take some time. But at the end of the day, if we keep working towards in the right direction, health is the only outcome.
So my personal experience has been based on whatever little research I have done on this topic. Actually, the ionized water seems to have a very positive impact on autoimmune ailments, and it doesn't matter which autoimmune ailment you have because the mechanisms fundamentally are the same, as Dr. Ashwani was saying. And one of the first impacts that people see is on their digestion. The digestive health starts improving, the gut microbiota starts improving. When that happens, naturally your immune system starts improving.
Right. Okay. Siddharth, Anil ji is there. Anil Khandelwal. He also has his experiences with structured water. And Anil ji, please go ahead and you can share your information on the structured water.
He's actually already put it in the chat, Ashwani ji. Uh, So a lot of people are asking which device do you suggest. So the device that I have experimented with and I have found it to be the probably the best device available in the market is the one manufactured by the company called Enagic from Japan. So I would actually invite Venkat Anna to just kind of share his experience with it. And if any of you are interested in finding out more about this device, you can also get in touch with him, and we can share his contact details on the chat as well. Venkatji, please unmute yourself and speak. Wait a minute. I will have to unmute, I think. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
unmuted.
yeah, great. Thanks, Siddhaji. So, hi, all, good evening. Thanks all for joining the session on busy Sunday. It's nice to see. I can see some very valuable questions. It's completely valid and great support from Ashwani and Siddhaji. So this particular device, whatever Siddhaji has highlighted, is from Japan. Okay, I'm using this device from almost nearly to 2 years. Okay, and I have actually benefited a lot from this device, from the constipation to the energy and all the other things. Okay, and I have helped so many people within Bangalore and other places also. So what you can do is, if you have more questions on this specific device and the related things, you can always reach me out. So we will put my, basically we'll keep my contact details in this chat.
Right, and just a couple of questions I'll answer, and then we can,
Sure.
also have Anilji, share his thoughts on structured water. So there are a couple of questions about adding lemon juice to the water, and also adding baking soda. So there is a very big difference between soda and lemon. First of all, lemon is acidic by its nature. Baking soda is alkaline. What we need to understand is the difference between making water alkaline by adding an alkaline chemical to it, in this case being baking soda, and making the water alkaline by adding hydrogen to it. Hydrogen is neutral in the sense it only brings your body, your cells towards homeostasis. Okay. But with baking soda or other such chemicals, there is no way for us to know where to stop or when to stop. And the body actually has more natural defenses against acidosis, more acidity in the system compared to alkalosis, which is too much of alkalinity in the system. And personally, whatever experiments I have done, I did not find any health benefits by drinking water which had been made alkaline by adding various, things like baking soda to it. But when I started drinking the Kangen water, it made a big difference to my health also personally and in my family.
So I think hydrogen by its nature has a therapeutic effect. Maybe baking soda has its own benefits, but it does not add the benefit of extra hydrogen. Okay, we use alkaline water from it's easy peasy, right? Adding some lime to it or adding some it does help to an extent, but of course it cannot be compared.
Correct. And what that is doing and what this is doing will be very, very different also.
Correct. Yes.
So Anilji, let me unmute you so that you can also share. You can please unmute yourself and speak for a minute.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a lovely session.
Can't hear you, Anilji. You need to speak a little louder, please.
Am I audible now?
No, not really.
Hello?
Yes, now a little better.
All right. Okay. Is it better now?
I think
Hello?
you have to keep the mic close to you, sir.
Yeah, I'm very close to the mic, in fact. Is it better now?
It's fading in and out. Sometimes we can hear you and then it goes away again.
Hello?
Very,
Yeah,
very faint.
surprised because here my system is working quite good.
Okay.
So very quickly, good evening, everyone. And in fact, this structured water is really an incredible, process of consuming structured water is amazing in multiple ways. That's my experience. Is my background is I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I had spent good inning with FMCG and pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. It's the last few years I'm practicing into preventive healthcare and reversal of chronic diseases. In that process, I got in touch with a very renowned scientist from Russia who has been a disciple of Dr. Emoto Masaru, the name which came up during the course of discussion. And this water is very unique in multiple ways because I had extensively discussed on this topic with American scientists also, including Dr. Gerald, from Washington University as well as Hydration Foundation. And this particular water is so unique in a sense that you need not to, have those large devices. You got to just add 4 to 5 drops or 6 drops in 1 liter water, and you store that water for a period of 24 hours in a dark and cold place, and the entire water molecular structure undergoes a change. And that means that the bonded structure of the water becomes a loose, and that's what we were talking about, the hydrogen atomic energy. That entire water, when you consume it empty stomach in the morning and during the day 1 hour before or after meals, one would see an incredible results. And in fact, I can witness to the fact that we have given this water to a number of patients having dependent on insulin, as well as some patients who are stage 3 cancer patients. And I can place on record that the more than 20 patients on record where they were heavily dependent on insulin, they are completely out of diabetic conditions. It takes about 3 to 4 months, the effect of the water comes in. But frankly speaking, if this water is consumed on a regular basis, probably it can address a lot many diseases which are, or I call it, it addresses the process of disease which we may not realize unless and until it grows up to a stage. And therefore, this water, I find, and the clinical studies have been done in Russia, in South Korea, in China, and currently the studies are going on in US. And in India, we're going to start very soon on this. So I thought to just add few points over there that it does not require that water to be taken out and then consumed. You can store it. The shelf life of this structured water is more than a year, and you got to use only 6 drops in a day. If some disease level is high, one can take 1.5 liters. I'll stop there, and if anyone is interested, I can share more details. I had already shared the presentation with Dr. Ashwini, and maybe later some point of time we can reflect and discuss more on this. Since time is short, so I thought to just very quickly summarize the things.
Thank you, sir. So everyone, I think at least we have understanding today after this discussion, or everybody will have Google to understand more about it. So even post that, if you have any questions and any queries, we happy to answer them. And first of all, you have to understand the value of the water, right water. So far, we always valued water, Ganga water, or from the different places of Uh, like Ganga, it comes from the all mountains and all that. Essentially, it is a structured water. Of course, it might have added minerals or herbs to it, but this is what is required for a healthy body, and different ways of doing it. And some of the ways are talked about and mentioned in the presentation, and some of the ways are different machines are doing it. So to your convenience, everybody can choose what is right for them. And of course, before you go about it, you ask your questions, you understand more about it, and then you implement. So at the end of the day, we all want that everybody gets healthy again. Any final thoughts, Siddharth?
Yeah, so wonderful session. Thank you, Dr. Ashwini, and thanks to all of you for participating. I have just shared the link of a very short Google form in the chat. If you are interested in us intimating you about such future events that we do, please fill up this form. Okay, so that will help us, ensure that we don't bother you if you don't want us to connect with you. But if you want us to connect, please fill up this form. I've also again shared Venkat's number for those of you who are interested in finding out more about the Kangen water thing. So it's already well over an hour. So once again, thanks a lot for all of your active participation. I really enjoyed the session, and I hope all of you really, are taking back something valuable from this. So thank
All
you.
right, thank you so
We'll
much.
close the session here. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Thank you.